Hi, I am Catie, and this is Queeries with Alexa.
Hi.
And Louie.
Yo.
Here at Bear Jam, we are going to talk about what it means to be an ally, what it means to learn more about the shared experience of the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, we're just going to have a nice little conversation and have some fun.
Yay.
Ready for this?
We're ready.
We're going to do an LGBTQ plus version of this or that.
Okay.
Now, no, you cannot loiter in your thinking. It's just the first thing. Okay?
Can I just copy everything that Alexa said?
No.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hit me.
Mighty Hoopla or wireless?
My hoopla.
Soho or Dalston?
Soho.
Manchester or London Pride?
London Pride.
London, yeah.
Handbag or bum bag?
Bum
Bum
bag.
bag.
Are you guys like O for you look the same? Okay. Queer as folk or banana?
Queer as folk.
Banana.
What?
Frankie or Grace?
Frankie.
Beyonce or Britney?
Britney.
Beyonce.
Brighton or Birmingham?
Brighton.
Brighton.
Drag brunch or drag bingo?
Brunch.
Brunch. Yeah.
Kylie or Madonna?
Oh, Kylie.
Kylie. Padam padam.
Okay. Are we ready for this one? Leather, sequins, or latex?
Leather.
Sequins.
Barbra Streisand or Celine?
Celine.
Celine.
Wicked or Six?
Wicked.
Done.
Hey.
Yeah? You feel good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys got
Oh my god, we're so fun.
I would say you're pretty. We were like 5 out of 8 there, I would say. All right, I think we should start off with hopefully an easy one. What, in your experience, makes a good ally, specifically in 2023? Because what an ally meant years ago, I think that it's a very different connotation now, at least in my experience.
I think the best allies that I know are ones that are educating themselves and actively taking an interest.
Yeah.
And being asking questions like you do, for example, asking questions and being on a podcast with us. But yeah, I think it's being open to not knowing the answer and being willing to fuck up and say stupid shit and ask questions and be open to not knowing the answer.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is not about me. There is sometimes a lot of pressure to get it right, and there's almost a lot of freedom when you lean into the idea of I'm going to have a conversation about something really hard, and I'm 100% going to mess up and say the wrong thing and make a mistake. And I just very much appreciate that you guys give that space to make the mistake, because I can only get better if I'm going to say the wrong thing and learn.
I think as long as people are open to learning from their mistakes, then it's all fine. Everyone's going to fuck up at some point. Like we do.
Yeah.
But it's just, not taking offense and making it about yourself.
Yeah.
But just growing and being willing to change your thoughts and ideologies.
That's a really good point about not taking offense, because when you do take offense, you make it about yourself.
Yeah.
It's just put your shoulders back, take it, and move on. This is something I genuinely have a question about. It's one thing to be accepting of everyone and not feel like you discriminate or see color, see differences, things like that, which is what I thought what made a good ally, because my MO has always just been whatever, great, yay. But now I can see that there's more value in being very specific in how an ally behaves within a certain marginalized community. In your experience, kind of what's the merge of being whatever, do your thing, live your life, but also actually caring? Do you know what I mean? And helping to move the dial forward a bit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are very much whatever happens behind closed doors, I don't really care, do what you want to do. But that's okay, but we're kind of moved on from that point to you kind of have to do something. Our community is coming under attack constantly, so it's if you're going to be a good ally, you kind of need to be able to know when to stand up for people like us and actually do something about it. So whether that's I don't know, protesting or helping us get laws passed, or even something as simple as if you see someone being homophobic towards someone, being what the fuck are you doing? You can't say stuff like that. So it's just standing up for people, I think.
If you see it, call it out.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for people to just not, or just let it pass and just be oh, maybe they didn't hear, or
Right.
I don't know. But if you see it, say something.
I think that there is something to that, because it's all good and well to be obviously I wouldn't tolerate that, or
Yeah.
everybody should just be a nice person, but there are like more actionable things within the community that you can do. Okay, to continue to make about me, I have a few more ally questions. Any ally pet peeves of yours?
I mean, I guess in general, just tokenizing.
Yeah.
But I
What
don't
do you
really
mean by that?
like. I mean, it seems very cliche these days, but it used to happen a lot where it was kind of like gay best friend type thing.
Right. Like if I were to say, I grew up in the theater, I have like loads of gay friends, that would just be not what
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Okay,
Fine.
I'm learning.
You're lovely.
Okay, it's in the middle. It's not over here. It's not over there.
But yeah. Also, kind of like a sense of entitlement when occupying queer spaces.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a
which
good
is-
one. Yeah.
Like that's a topic that's widely discussed in the past few years.
Yeah.
Of, like what is appropriate. But yeah, I think as long as you're respectful,
Yeah.
then it's okay. But at the end of the day, it is supposed to be like a safe space for queer
Yeah.
people. But yeah, as I say, as long as you're respectful, I don't.
Do you
have a
mind
massive
if
problem
I
with it. It's
ask
just
for an example of that?
hen parties?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I go to Brighton quite a lot.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge thing in Brighton, like much more than London. Where it's like every other bar. If you go out on like a Friday or a Saturday,
Yeah.
you will see like at least a few hen parties just out and about.
Yeah.
And not to generalize,
Right.
they're not always the most respectful of the gays in those spaces.
Yeah.
God, I
Probably a
feel
big
like it
pet peeve.
would only make it more fun. That's their problem. Yeah.
All those drunk girls. Like, what more could you want?
God. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I can go off of that and just like, all the gay clubs in London. It's like you go into a gay club and you're expecting there to be gay people in there and they're
Yeah.
all straight.
Yeah.
And you're like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, this is like, obviously you're allowed to go. But it's like,
Sure.
this is like, if you go to a gay club to meet people.
Right.
And it's just all straight people and it just becomes very frustrating.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had an experience like that in New York where I went with my friend who was lesbian and we went there. And it was kind of like, she'd asked me like, let's go wingman, let's have some fun, have a nice night out. And we went and it was all straight.
Yeah. Every single person, you're like,
I
hi.
mean, just like, this is the most unpurproductive. We should just go to
yeah.
a sports bar down the street. That would be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where all the lesbians are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sports. Okay, great. How would an ally or even just any heterosexual or non-member of the community make themselves more approachable to the community?
I think it's just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think if you're just a nice person, then it's just like you're just more open to people and people will feel more comfortable around you. And, if you come off as a dick, then I'm probably not going to come to you and be like, hi, I'm really gay. Nice to meet you. So,
I wish you would.
Yeah. It would be fun to watch, right?
Yeah. When that happens and we're all in the same space, for example, work, how does that translate into those types of environments? Like when we're all, I don't want to even say coexisting. It feels like it adds weight if I say that, but I guess that's what it is. Yeah. When we're all in the same space, like, because historically, like all of our experiences have been more catered towards me. I'm privileged, like, a white woman of straight. Like, what helps you have the same experience, if you can, that I'm having easily? What would make me a greater, I guess, ally for you guys in that?
I think it's like being open to ask questions. Like, obviously, I think when you're a straight woman, people will ask you about your husband and your kids and stuff. And it's like, people wouldn't naturally ask us questions like that. So it's just like being open to asking different kinds of questions and like the fact that we live different kinds of lives. Yeah. We don't really live different kinds of lives, but like, but yeah, like we have different experiences and it's like, I guess being open to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I can come in and talk about my kids, right? And just like, and I assume that everyone will be enthralled by me talking about my kids.
Of course, show me your slideshow.
You know what I mean? Like, I just assume everyone's interested in what I'm saying. It would never occur to me that somebody wouldn't want to hear like how I live my life. Yeah. And I can really only imagine that experience of having to be like, can I share this in a public place?
I think that comes down to like being in a safe space and like knowing that you can share stuff about your life and be like, oh, I went out last night and did this. And it's like, can I say that in a workplace? Like, is that appropriate? And it's like, yeah, it should be. Like, why shouldn't it be appropriate to talk about my life? Like, especially in a creative industry. Yeah. We work in a creative, relaxed environment. So, like, why can't we talk about this stuff?
Yeah. Have you had any experiences of like, I know that we do work in a creative industry and historically that's like a more progressive liberal space where people wouldn't really, it's not like we're, you know, not to put down Florida, but we're not like, you know what I mean? You could initially inherently feel safe when you walk in there. Have you ever had any experiences of where that's not been the case and you've not felt comfortable, even though people from the outside would look in and see this company and be like, oh yeah, great. You can be whoever you want. And we're very progressive. Have you ever had an experience where that wasn't the case?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it too much, but there was a place where I used to work just for a short period, where I definitely like held back parts of myself. It was difficult because the workplace atmosphere was very passively heterosexual.
Yeah.
Or heteronormative.
Was it very laddie?
Yes, it was very laddie.
Yeah.
Everyone in there was male.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then it was kind of like when we parted ways, it was very much, it just wasn't a good fit. But yeah, as I say, it wasn't until like thinking about it more recently that it was like, was me? Like,
you weren't
being
fully you there.
myself?
Yeah.
Or like even like partly being myself,
Mm-hmm.
was that part of the reason why?
Yeah. Like having to filter yourself in situations, filter things that you said, things like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. As queer people, what do you value the most within a work environment?
Biscuits. No, I think like knowing that there's like policies in place that like protect us. There's obviously like the law that protects us, but that is often not put in place in a workplace, and it's quite hard to uphold. So I think it's just having like policies that go above what the law is to kind of like ensure that we're safe to begin with, and that's kind of just like a baseline, really.
So like a no discrimination policy.
Yeah.
And also like making sure everybody's aware that there is one.
Yeah.
It exists, what it entails, and then consequences or actions.
Yeah.
If something,
And it's like making sure everyone's educated on those policies and why they're put in place.
Yeah.
Because I think that sometimes people can be a bit like, oh, well, you know, everyone's fine. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't need it. But like some people do need to be educated and might not be as open to other people about asking these kinds of questions, and like would inevitably say something that could be offensive.
Because when I go into a workplace, or I guess the one time I have since I've had kids, the first thing I look for is what is written down as to the policy that will help support me be a working mother, whether that's maternity, whether that's what the flexible hours are, all of that. And that's the first thing I look for when we're handed a handbook or whatever.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that what would protect the two of you and your rights and your experience in work would have to be written down as well. I initially, in my passive allyship, would be like, I don't feel like we need to talk about how you don't discriminate in work in that way. But can you talk a little bit more about why that's important to you to have that like physical, tangible evidence of that?
Yeah, I think it's just a protection, really, and it's just like ensuring that your kind of base level is protected, and I think it's a little bit about like advocating for yourself, and it's like if that is there as like the baseline, then I feel like I don't have to like be like I'm gay and I've been discriminated against, but there's no like laws against it, so help me, but also you have no legal right to help me, so you know it's difficult, but at least if that's written down, you don't have to like advocate for yourself, so it's easier if you are discriminated against. So it just makes life easier for people who need it.
Fair enough. That's a good point. Louis, is there anything that's kind of important to you when it comes to your work environment?
Yeah, kind of like going on from having policies in place, it allows you to live authentically to who you are, which is incredibly important, and especially for mental health. Because, you know, if you're like spending your life hiding who you are, which if you spend your life hiding like who you are at work, which is where you spend a lot of your time, and you get quite close with your workmates, but if you're not really living authentically, then that's gonna fuck you up.
And play a huge toll on your mental health.
Sometimes it feels like it's unspoken or like unwritten, or kind of, as you say, it's just like, oh, well, we didn't think that it needed to be like an established thing, but it would make me feel a lot more comfortable, because then you don't have to guess if people are going to be okay with you, because you know that if you are too gay, then you do have protections, and that's why it's very, very important, especially to me.
I can't imagine a filtered version of the two of you. I would not like
luckily,
it.
we don't have to very
exactly.
much.
We don't have to tone ourselves down. Yeah. I think that's a good point though, about toning yourself down, and like how, like in past jobs, I've definitely had to like tone myself down, not necessarily in front of certain people, but in front of other people, and you kind of change, like how you present and like what you say in front of them. It's not just about like what you say, but it's about like how you act and like.
Code switching.
Exactly, yeah.
Code switching?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Code switching. Yeah.
Changing, like, how you act and how you speak and in front of different kinds of people. So it's like, if you feel safe, you'll speak like your natural self, your authentic self. If you're in front of someone who you know is going to be like homophobic or whatever, you will completely tone your gay down and absolutely not say anything at all. Like, I feel like I have like a certain kind of privilege because I can generally pass as straight. Sometimes, but like generally I can pass as straight, so it's kind of easier for me. But I don't know if it's what it's like for you.
I think if people generally see me, they don't often assume that I'm gay unless I have a dick in my mouth.
How often do people see you like that?
No, but then people are like, "Oh, I had no idea you were gay until you opened your mouth," and a purse fell out. But yeah, so like, I mean, just going on from that, like, if I'm talking to random people that I haven't met before, I will absolutely like lower my voice an octave and like just, I don't know, try and be a bit more masculine. Until I know that they're cool. But like it's just second nature, because it's just, I don't know, that's just what I've done forever and what I probably always will do. Unless I'm in like a fully queer space. Like Mighty Hoopla. Which is great because it's super duper queer. And that was a time when I didn't think twice at all about having to butch myself up at all. It was lovely.
Back to this idea of safety, like something that you said, Alexa, if I were to ever tone how I was acting at work, because I mean, this is generally speaking, like obviously women can occupy very unsafe spaces, you know, at work and stuff like that. I've been very lucky that most of the spaces I have been safe, but sometimes I will tone myself down or change my behavior to get certain results or to, I don't know, you know, I've like dumbed myself down, things like that. It would never occur to me to do that to feel safe. So can you, because I think a lot of people assume in 2023, like, you know, we're past that. We're past like, you know, the influx of like hate crimes and stuff. And I know sometimes I speak from like a state's like, you know, experience, but we're past all the stuff where you don't feel safe. That's actually not true. And can you speak a bit more about what it feels like to feel unsafe in 2023 and be a part of this community?
It feels like we're going backwards.
Really?
Like anti-gay, anti-trans hate crimes are definitely on the rise, peddled a lot by the media. I mean, this is on a tangent, but like the media controls like everything, and if they decide that the general public should hate something, they will end up hating it. Which is a massive thing that's happening at the moment with like trans rights, and it's just terrible, because I mean, I saw like, I think it was a tweet, I know that was it. It's the fish that can change its gender. Like,
it was like a BBC bite-sized thing. Or
and
something,
it was like 6 years ago. It was reported. No one cared, and it wasn't a thing. But now it's been reported again because it was on CBeebies, and they just said it on like one of their kids shows. That there's this moral panic. Well, it's all just feeding into the constant moral panic
just a fucking
against
fish.
trans people. But it's more like, as I say, it's just kind of like, it's entirely manufactured, and it's just getting worse.
I think it's like the media has gone in on trans people, and it's like it is going backwards, because if we look to like the noughties, like what was the face off Big Brother who won, who was trans, like Nadia, yeah, she won in like 2002 or something, and it's like she would never win now. Someone who's trans would never win like a reality TV show. There would be uproar about them being on it to begin with. So it's like, how are we so backwards like 20 years later? We're going in the wrong direction. Doesn't make sense.
I think as well, another big thing that I see quite a lot on social media is that like the same arguments against trans people these days are the arguments that they made against gay people back in the 70s, 80s. And
think of the children.
It's just gonna repeat. Which is why it's really important that like you have to stand up for trans people and call out anything if you see it, and just, I don't know, just make the world a bit safer.
God, that kills me, because like I think it, you know, obviously it was such a big deal and it was getting legalized and stuff like that, and I like, in my perception of it is that we're going up. You know what I mean? It should be less of a, and just the idea of you guys like not feeling safe is just, I mean, come on.
I find it frustrating being in London, because like I moved out of the Welsh countryside, which was like a nice space, but you know, it's not many gays there. And it's like
teeming with
all the gays and the sheep. But like I came to London expecting it to be like this big, open, like welcoming, accepting space. And some parts of it are, but you know, a lot of it isn't. And like, you know, I live in Brixton, and Brixton can be a little bit like, people wouldn't be quite as open to me walking down the street with my girlfriend holding hands. And it's like, it is a place where we might get shouted at for that. And it's like, it's uncomfortable. And it's like, you know, there's different parts of London where you might be able to be openly gay, but like, it's difficult to feel safe.
Which goes back to our earlier point of like, you may think you are in like a very liberal, progressive area or industry, but it's not like a cop out to then take your like foot off the pedal almost.
Exactly.
How do you guys navigate, or if you do, if you don't want to share, I understand, like, do you have those conversations with your family and close friends who aren't a part of the community, of like your experience of that, and just whether to like educate them or ask them to change their behavior?
I think like it's just something that's coming up more and more with like my family and my girlfriend's family, and it's like, it's stuff that we have to talk about, and like they think, people just assume that we're okay. Like people just assume that, you know, like we don't get hate. But we do get hate. Like, and it's hard. I think it's hard for families to kind of see that and recognize that, because I think that goes back to people, like your parents will always be a little bit like, when you come out, no matter what, because they're scared for you.
Right.
Like they're scared of what society is going to say and like do, and it's kind of sad in a way that that's always a parent's kind of first reaction, but like it's understandable.
I mean, like that fear, like hearing you guys talk about the security and have say that would trump the celebration of like, thank you for telling me who you are. As an initial reaction, I think it eventually be like, this is great, like yay. But the initial one would be like, I just never want anybody to ever hurt you, you know. And I just can't imagine having that be your experience.
Deep.
I know. Woo!
Pride.
So speaking of pride, what is the best, like, what are your favorite ways to celebrate pride?
Rainbows.
Both.
Lots of parties.
Parties are fun.
And what's it feel like to be in those moments?
Fun. I did London Pride last year, and I was like on one of the trucks on one of the floats.
Really?
I was right at the front. It was great fun, and I did feel like a celebrity. It was quite nice.
You?
And
I would too.
I was on BBC News. It was amazing.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm famous. You could buy my images on Getty Images.
You're kidding me.
It's me in like a rainbow onesie. It's great.
All of our clients, watch out. That's our next stock
buy
footage.
me. I'm £400.
Like this image does not apply to our video, but great.
It was really fun, and like it was first Pride obviously since COVID, so it was a very fun one to go to.
One of the years I kind of went on like a tour of all the prides that I could.
Did you?
Because they're all at different times in like a 3-month period.
Yeah.
Like you mean cities in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was really fun.
Yeah.
Love that. Again, it's just feeling really good to be in like a big city space or even like a small city space.
Yeah.
But just feel completely safe because it's Pride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is like a balance of it being Pride's a protest. It will always be a protest.
Yes.
But it's also a nice space for us to celebrate like who we are and be openly out.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a
I
celebration.
often see it as a relief.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, I think I'm hardwired to believe that I'll never feel truly safe, like every day.
Yeah.
But on those days, I do feel like that, and that's a really great stress release of my brain. Yeah, so that's why I go to all the prides. But yeah, I've been in the parade. I've been in London Pride
I got the
parade like
Yay.
twice. I've been in Brighton once. I was on the main stage at Pride once.
What?
Yes,
Are you
'cause
famous?
I used to be in a gay men's dancing company.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Were you in your
There's videos.
Speedos doing it?
There's
No.
videos?
Oh, how sad.
No, I was in short
I'm gonna
shorts.
spend
though.
like
Short
half a
shorts,
day at
okay.
work looking for this now.
Googling Louis in short shorts.
Yes, Louis.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
Okay.
I don't do it anymore, but I mean, I still dance
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, I love
In
that.
little short shorts.
Okay, so Pride, we love it. Any fun stories, or is that like a good opportunity to meet new people, date, have some spicy
Yeah.
makeouts? You know.
Oh, many. So it's fun, just in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Just, yep.
PG-13.
Okay. No PG-13 experiences with that. But can I
No,
keep
make it out,
asking
it's
you,
fun.
Yeah.
I guess in the larger sense, like not just Pride, the experience of dating and meeting people in that community, in your community, sorry. Again, back to like my experiences obviously was set up for this, you know, you like meet a dude and you have pop out a couple kids and this is what
Sounds so romantic.
I know it is really romantic. But that's kind of what society has historically been set up for, right? Any experiences or thoughts on having to kind of navigate away from the societal norm, but also live authentically while dating, while meeting people, and trying to feel safe?
Grinder.
Yeah, I was going to say the internet.
Okay, and that's been a help.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
Grinder
yeah.
for me, no, but
It's a mixed bag.
yeah.
Okay.
Like Grinder and like general dating apps as well. They don't always work very well.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's kind of like it's hard because like, you know, you can go to gay bars and stuff, but then it is typically, you'd probably imagine that was more hookup culture, which
Right.
is just like Grindr. But I met my boyfriend on a big gay holiday, but it was really nice to actually just like kind of meet him organically in person, and I think that's the first time that I've ever actually done that. And it's
Was
turned
he
into a relationship.
on the trip with you, or you met him
No,
there?
I met him. I met
Okay.
him there at
Okay.
a wonderful bar in the Yumbo Centre called Kiki,
Okay.
which just played non-stop pop till like 5 a.m.
Perfect.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then turns out that he lived in London too, so I pursued that
Oh.
heavily.
Aww.
And now he's my boyfriend.
Yay!
But I'm quite happy with the fact that I did just meet him in person and there was a connection, and it didn't have to go through like Grindr or
Right.
whatever apps. But
But
yeah,
back
it's
to that
kind
feeling
like-
of being safe, do you feel like you have to almost go into those specific communities to meet somebody, as opposed to just swanning around London and
Oh,
just like, oh
absolutely.
my
Yeah.
God, you
because
know.
you'll never know.
Yeah.
Unless like you think you know because they're presenting very gaily.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, but that's stereotypical.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to constantly wonder, like when I was single, I would just go into a place and be like, what's up? You know, or, and you having to constantly look for those signs because society isn't set up
Yeah.
to date within the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Like, I think I would never naturally meet anyone in a bar unless it was a man, because like it's just so much easier to meet like a guy in real life.
Yeah.
But if I was looking to meet a woman, it's much more difficult because you can't just be like, hey, because like how do I know if
Yeah.
you're gay or you're straight? Like
Yeah.
it's so difficult to know. It's not like you're wearing a big rainbow. Like
Right. And the whole point is to not have to go into a place and proclaim. Well, I don't know. Like, what can you speak about that? About having to this idea of feeling like you have to come out in order to live your life. I guess that's still what we have to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't go into a room and say, guys, I like men, you know? Yeah. Does that make sense? Can you speak more to like that experience?
Well, yeah, there's like the thing about constantly coming out, right? Like we basically have to come out every single day.
Yeah.
Like people think of coming out as it being like a one-time big thing when
Right.
like you come out to your parents and your friends and like it's like, oh my God, rainbows, it's done. Like you're constantly having to be like, yeah, I'm gay. Hi, yeah. I have a girlfriend. Yeah. It's just something that you're constantly having to say, and because everyone expects you to be straight. Like that is like a standard. Everyone's kind of like, oh, well, everyone's heterosexual, but not everyone is.
So it's like constantly on your mind.
Yeah.
Who you are.
Yeah.
And having to state who you are.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Does that ever feel exhausting? Not to
Yeah.
lead the witness here, but I mean, I feel tired for you.
Yeah. It's a lot of self-awareness, I think.
Yeah.
Which is why all the gays I know are in therapy.
Yay! And as should everyone be.
Yes.
Yeah. But more so on understandable reason.
Yeah.
Are there any spaces that you walk into and you feel like you don't, besides Grindr and a gay bar?
Spoons.
I guess now we know. Spoons. What's Spoons?
I never go to a Spoons.
Full of lads. Yeah.
Although I did go to
Do you mean a Weatherspoons?
Weatherspoons.
Yeah.
JD Weatherspoons pub?
JD.
Where the beer's like £2?
Lads. Yeah, I was surprised.
It's
Oh my
cheap.
God, it's cheap
It
as
was
chips.
literally £2.
Yeah.
I was
It's
like, this is
a
ridiculous.
horribly sticky place,
evil.
but
No, but I mean,
JD Weatherspoon, the man, is a nasty ass person.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
we don't support him. Yeah.
oh God, what?
He's a Brexiteer.
Oh,
Fired everyone in COVID.
yikes.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
But you would think he'd be dead. Like,
It's
how
not,
long
it's
have the
not like
pubs
an
been
old
around?
chain. He just bought up all the old pubs. Why are we talking about spoons?
No,
But
sorry.
yeah, what did you say? You said Spoons.
Yeah,
you
no,
walk into a
because-
Spoons and feel safe?
No, unsafe.
He was being sarcastic.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you said unsafe.
I got there.
Oh, okay.
Eventually. Sorry.
Basically,
No, but is there
I
any
don't feel
places
safe
you can?
at old man pubs.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Are there any spaces you can walk into and just be like, I don't have to preface myself?
Usually when there's lots of rainbow flags, you're kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
this is okay. I feel
Yeah.
accepted here.
Do you feel like, not to go on a weird tie back tangent, if workplaces were to be more upfront and clear about that from the get-go, like when you're interviewing or, you know, even on like their offices, things like that, does that do a lot of the heavy lifting?
I think it would. Like, as long as, you know, you don't... If you were like, you look gay, let's tell you...
Let's talk
Yeah.
about
Let's tell
being
you about
gay.
our policies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? You don't look gay. No one can look
Yeah.
gay. Soundbite.
Cut, friend.
what was-
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question. Might be stereotypical, but it was written down for me to ask.
Cool.
So it could be cool. Who pays on a date?
The top. I was waiting to say that one. That is not true.
I mean, who pays on your dates? It's 2023.
But to be fair, when I was dating, it was the guy.
Well, you're straight. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I know some people who like... I mean, not to... Again, like with the whole top and bottom thing.
Yeah.
That like some people are like, well, I'm the bottom. I don't have to pay.
What a nice life.
I mean, generally, in every date that I've ever been on, we just split it. Because,
Yeah. Equality, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what I've learned from that is the top.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. In all seriousness, I know it's not the most fun to be sat down and grilled.
Tell us about being gay.
What it's like to be in a, you know, can I say marginalized? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Community. It's not the most fun. And you have to be like very vulnerable and open, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything for you,
Thank
Katie.
you.
Number one, straight ally.
Anything?
Number one ally. We'll get you a badge.
Thank you for watching. Swipe up and subscribe.
Yay.
Just kidding.
Just say
You know
every
what?
single thing. Yeah.
Poke me on Facebook. 'Cause that's what's wrong. No, in all seriousness, thank you very much for watching and listening. I'm Katie.
I'm Alexa.
I'm Louis.
And this was Queeries!